All right, so what is going on YouTube? I'm back with another video. I feel that I can do a double header for you guys this evening. So right now it is, I don't even know what the time it is right now. Let me just look over here and see. Oh wow, it's almost midnight. It is definitely almost midnight out here. So what I want to do is that I want to go ahead and I want to touch on fears and phobias, and I want to discuss some of my fears that I've had. I'll just go ahead and just start off with maybe some of the fears that I've had growing up and how I was able to get over those fears. And then I'm gonna touch on some of the fears that I still currently have this day, and maybe one or two things that I'm doing to try to tackle some of those fears. Now, one fear that I had growing up was a fear of wind. It's called anchiophobia, and it's a deep fear of wind and the gusty wind. So I remember, being outside, and whenever there'd be like a dust storm or a real strong wind gust, I would start panicking. My heart start racing. I would need to get inside of a car or get inside of a building somewhere because I didn't like being in the wind. I start to panic to the effect of whenever my face was facing towards the wind, it almost felt as if I couldn't breathe. So I remember that was one big fear that I had as a kid. And when I was talking to her about it with my mom, she had mentioned that since when I was born, and I had to be put on an oxygen machine because I couldn't breathe on my own, how that may have had some kind of effect on us, why I was afraid of wind as a child. But nevertheless, that was a fear that, once I got used to playing outside in the wind a few more times, that it didn't really bother me after that. Another fear that I had was a fear of dead people. I believe it's called necrophobia. I remember going to these funerals. I know my grandfather had passed when I was 8 years old, and my grandmother had passed when I was 10. And I remember just being really freaked out when I saw them in that casket because they looked totally different from when you used to seeing them when they were alive. They was almost like this wax figure that you would see at a museum or something, and they just looked it totally different. And I remember just being afraid to walk up there to the casket just to look at him. So that was another fear that I had. I mean, it was at the point where I think I may have had a couple nightmares um, based on that fear of looking at people through in the casket. And how I was able to get through that fear was that after a while, you go to enough funerals and you get used to seeing dead bodies in caskets, it really doesn't bother you like it used to. But I still get that eerie feeling that you get when you see somebody that's dead that's in a casket. So that was another fear that I had growing up. Another fear was fear of rejection. Just about every guy had this fear, guys and girls for that matter. Fear of rejection. Um, I remember like I used to be intimidated by going up to those girls that I found attractive and trying to approach them because I had this feeling that where they felt like I felt as though, oh well, they were too fine to even talk to me, or I had this feeling where they would reject me and they would diss me, and then somebody else will see it, and now I'm left with this shame and the embarrassment that comes from that. So how I got over that fear was pretty much just getting rejected a few more times. Because after you got rejected a couple times, it really doesn't sting and bother you like it used to. And it almost at the point now where I kind of just laugh at rejection. I just laugh at it. And you just never know, by you shooting your shot, she may think that you're attractive too. She may think that she was waiting for you to come up there and approach her and talk to her. So don't be so scared to shoot your shot, fellas. So that was another fear that I've had that I'm glad that I was able to get over by the time I got 18, 19 years old. Now, I want to touch on some of my current fears that I have. One fear is the fear of heights. Now, now I love going on roller coasters. I like, the thrill rides. Growing up, I went on roller coaster at Magic Mountain, whether it was the Batman roller coaster, the Riddler's Revenge, the Goliath roller coaster. So going on a real high, steep roller coaster wasn't a big deal to me. And even to this day, like I will find myself going to Wet and Wild, and I get on the tallest ride there, the tallest water slide, and go down. But if we were sitting on a 32nd floor of a hotel, and if you asked me to go out there to the balcony to look at something or to take a picture, I'm not going outside of no ledge or no balcony being that high up in the air. So that's a fear that I'm still find myself dealing with to this day. I remember a few years back, maybe little more than a couple years ago, my our YAP program, we would take the kids to the Hoover Dam, and right before we went through the scenic route through the Hoover Dam, where you go, through the rim of the dam, we would walk across the Pat Tillman Bridge that was sitting up higher than the Hoover Dam. And I remember that I got so spooked that I didn't even make it across the bridge. I think I made it about a third of the way across that bridge because I had that fear of heights. Just being up there that high, walking across that skinny sidewalk, attached to that highway where as soon as a car comes, the whole bridge seems to vibrate. So that's something that I'm still dealing with to this day, and I'm just kind of facing it a little at a time. One more fear that I want to touch on, and it's actually I actually found it interesting because some other people have this same fear. It's a fear of deep, dark waters, the fear of ocean water, and the fear is called Phobia, which is a fear of deep and dark waters. And I noticed why I'm not too thrilled about taking an airplane flight across the ocean, whether it be to Hawaii or to the year one of the European countries or anything like that, because I'm afraid of if I got a window seat and we're flying on that ocean, I look out that window seat and I look down and I see nothing but dark blue water. That's probably going to terrify me, man. So that's another fear that I have. And the thing is that I enjoy swimming. I can swim in a deep water. I can swim in deep water, whether it be a swimming pool or maybe a man-made lake or something. I remember that I participated in a paddle boat racing where we were, practicing over Lake Las Vegas. So as far as big bodies of water, that doesn't really, I'm not really afraid of that. It's just like being out in the middle of the ocean where it's just nothing but open sea. That's something that terrifies me, man. So I don't know, maybe I can start working on trying to improve in that fear. So those are the couple of fears that I have, and I want y'all to share maybe some of the fears that you guys currently have this day, as well as some fears that you were able to some fears that you were able to control. So I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.